Welcome back to the sessions on the subject marketing management. Myself is M. Umrais, working as an assistant professor, Department of MBA, MLR Institute of Technology, Hyderabad. In today's session, I'm going to explain about global markets. Now, here we will discuss about what is a global market, and as a marketer, what are the major decisions that we need to take while entering into a global market. Now, let us start the session with understanding what is a global market. So, global market is a business organization in which a business will do any of their business activities in more than a single country. Then we will call such a business as a global business. So, a global firm is a firm that operates in more than one country, and why it is operating in more than one country for different activities of a business, like in order to conduct research and development, in order to procure the materials, or else in order to sell the product, in order to purchase the latest technologies, any of the activities of a business. That includes capture, R&D, or the production, or the logistics system, marketing, and financial advantages in its caste and reputation that are not available purely in a domestic competitors. Now here, why and when the organization will go into a global market. So whenever they want to get an advantage, for example, there is a very high demand for your product in the other foreign country. In that case, we will enter into that one. Why? We want to gain an advantage in that company which is not available in our home country. So, in order to take such an advantage, as an organization, a business unit will expand its business operations to the other countries. Then we will call such a business as global market. For a company, any size to go global, it must undertake certain series of decisions. Now, who can go for a global business? It is not restricted to a size of the company. Nowadays, as we can see that there are certain products that we have, which the people are preparing their foods, preparing their different types of articles that they have, but they have the demand for their product in international markets. So, it is not limited to the size. Irrespective of the size, any business can enter into a global market. But the major element is that they need to take different types of decisions before entering into a global market. Now, what are those decisions that we have? Now, let us discuss about that. The first decision that we have, it is deciding whether to go abroad. Now, basically, whenever we are going to expand our business in a global scenario, in a global market, there are certain type of two elements that we have. There are certain benefits that we have. At the same time, there is also risk involved in that one. So, we need to evaluate or analyze what are the benefits and what is the risk involved in that one. There are many companies, once they have entered into a global market, from local market to the national, or from a national market to an international, they are not getting succeeded. They are failed. Why they are failing? Because they are unable to predict the risk involved in that one. They just attracted with the benefits present in that one. Because of that, they are entering into a global market. But as a risk, they are unable to withstand with the risk involved, risk factors. Because of that, they are going to quit from that market. In order to remove such type of difficulties, what we need to do, we need to have idea about what are the benefits and what are the risk involved in this one. That we will take in the first step, that is decide whether to go abroad or not. Business would be easier and safer while going global. Why we are calling it as an easier? Because there are certain type of countries that we have which will allow freely to the people to enter into their market. For example, country like India, we have FDI, foreign direct investments. Through that, we are inviting the other country people to enter into India. So, it is easy for the other people, other retailers or else other business organizations from the foreign country to enter. And at the same time, why we will call this as a safer? Because the governments will provide the different types of advantages to us. Along with that, we are expanding. So, there is a possibility of growth of a business. But there are several factors are drawn more and more companies into international areas. Now, what are those factors? Now, here we have what attracts the business organizations to enter into a global market. Like higher profit opportunities. Yes, the people attracted with the higher profit margins, because of that, as they are planning to enter into a global market. Now, what type of opportunities that were present here? Like large customer base. As we are, for example, if our company is a national brand, when our brand is a national, then let us assume that there is a demand for 10 lakh products, some XYZ company. Now, but when the same brand is going to become international brand, now within this domestic country itself, the 10 lakh sale what we have, there is a possibility that it might become 12 lakhs. Why? Because there are certain customers that we have who will prefer international brand. We can able to attract such type of people. Along with this, the domestic country customers are increasing. On the other hand, we can also gain the customers from the others abroad, other foreign countries. So because of that, the customer base will increases to a great extent. Next one, reduces dependence on only one market. For example, when we are doing our business in a local market, there is a possibility that the customer might not like our product, or else when many competitors enter into the market, there is a chance that the sales of a company might decreases. How to overcome this one? Enter into a new location, new area, like an international option that we have. So whenever we are going to enter into a new or international market, yes, such a possibility can be reduced. Counter attacking the competitors in their home country. How to attack the counter competition? For example, as we said that there are many other competitive brands are available in the local market. Now, how to compete with these people? How to gain the competitive advantages? One of the basic elements that we have here, that is make your present brand into an international brand. Whenever we are making the brand as an international brand, ultimately what happen? It might not be possible to the other local retailers that we have to enter into an international market. Because of that, that will become an competitive advantage to our company. Customers are requiring international services. Now, one of the other elements that we have, maybe the product might be the same. When it is an international brand, there are certain type of customers who will be attracted with that. So these are the various advantages that we have. Ultimately, when these four aspects will help an organization to increase its profit. On the other hand, before going to enter into international market, we also need to understand the risk involved in that. Now, what is the risk involved? Whenever we are entering into a foreign country, another market, then what kind of risk involved in that one? Like, it might not understand the foreign customers. For example, we are very strong product, our product is very highly demanded, satisfied our local customers, but when we are going to enter into a foreign market, do those customers also will understand, will accept our product in the same way? May not be. So let us understand why we are getting failed in a global market, because we could not able to understand the customers in a proper way, might not understand the foreign country business cultures. There are different types of cultures that we have. For example, like UPI payments, what we will make in India, that facilities might not be available in the foreign countries. Yes, UPI is available only in India primarily. In that case, what happened? Whenever we are going to start any country, we should understand what is the culture of those people. Next, might not understand the foreign rules and regulations. So, if once we are not fulfilling the rules and regulations of any country, it is not possible to operate our business in a smoother way. So, understand the rules and regulations. There is a difficulty in understanding the rules and regulations. Lack of managers with international experiences. It is not very easy to operate in the other foreign countries by sitting at a domestic country. For that, more expertise people are required. Now, if you have such an expertise employees in your organization, go for that. But in some cases, whatever the potential financial resources that we have, it might not be possible to hire such competent people. Ultimately, what happens? It will impact on international as well as our domestic business operations also. So that we need to evaluate in a proper way. Another problem that we have, it is a problem with commercial laws, currencies, political system, and at the same time foreign properties that we have. So before going to enter into any country, first we should have the clear idea about what are the legal formalities that we have. So in our country, whatever the rules and regulations that we are following, does it is same, even though it is your company only, but still can we follow the same means? May not be always. So according to the foreign country rules and regulations, we have to change all our business operations. At the same time, what is the support of political system? As long as the respective leading government is supporting to our business, we can able to run our business in a smoother way. So what type of political changes that might take place in the other foreign countries, that need to be understood here. Otherwise, there is a possibility that we will face much more losses. So all these are the risk factors that has to be evaluated before entering into a foreign country. This is the first decision that we have. It is whether to enter into a foreign market or not. Abroad, that we need to go or not. How we will decide? We will try to map the balance between the profits or the benefits as well as the risk involved in this one. If the profits are more than the risk we are undertaking, chalo, let us enter into a foreign market. Like that is we will take the decision. Now, we have evaluated. Now we can able to withstand with the risk. Now, how to enter into an international market? International process typically takes place in 4 different stages. What are those? Now, the first one that we have, it is no regular export activities. We are not going to do any kind of export activities. It is a domestic business. The next one that we have, extension to that, export via independent representatives like agents. Now, we are not going to start our business operations there separately. Only the sales that we will do in a foreign country. Next one, establish one or more sales subsidiaries in the foreign country. Now, not with the representatives or agencies, we are going to make our sales subsidies in a foreign country. And the last one, very useful one that we have, it is, we will start our production units itself in abroad. So, this we will call them as the different stages of exporting our business operations. Either we will do only in domestic country, or else simply we will export to a foreign country, or else our independent exports that we will do, or else we will start our own business unit in the other foreign country. This is the first decision. Come to the second one. Now we have decided that I will go in a foreign country because I am getting more profits when compared with risk involved in this one. Okay, we have decided. Now how to enter? How can I enter into a foreign country? How many countries that I want to enter? That decisions will be taken in the second step. That is deciding market to enter, where to enter. For example, my company is an Indian company. I want to enter into a foreign country. Now, which country that I need to enter? There are many decisions here like developed country or developing country. Or else, even I will take both developed country or else developing country. I want to enter 3 to 4 countries. Now, how to enter into the 3 to 4 countries? That decisions will be taken here. In deciding to go abroad, the company need to define marketing objectives and policies. What are your objectives and policies? Depending upon that, yes, we can. Now, once we are clear with the objectives and policies, how we will enter? That is the first approaches that we have. It is waterfall approach. Waterfall, what happen? Drop by drop that it will come. For example, when we are pouring the water from a glass, how it will come? One by one that it will comes out. That is a continuity that we have. That is gradually enter into a foreign country in a sequential order, one after the other. So first drop when it fall down, second drop, third drop, fourth drop, like we have. Yes, after entering into a one country, as we will once we succeeded, we adjusted in that country, then we will go for the another country to be entered. Like that, as we will target whatever the targeted countries that we have, we will overcome that one. Next one, sprinkle approach. Sprinkle, what happened whenever we are sprinkling the water? At a time, everywhere the water will go. So, whatever the different places covered, at a time out will go. So, here entering many countries simultaneously, not one after the other. As for example, on 1st of March, I decided to enter into a foreign country. Whatever the 3 to 4 countries that we have decided at everywhere, that we will enter on 1st of March only. That is simultaneous. That is, we will call it as sprinkle approach. Whereas waterfall, March we will enter into a country X, Y we will enter into country Y on like 6th of June 6th, June 10th, somewhere. That means after 3 months, once we settle down, then we will enter. Now after that, December we are going to enter into another foreign country. Like that, as we will. That will take place in the first one, but all at a time will take place in the second one. Come to the next one, bond global. Now, what are born global companies means? These are the companies who will establish not as a domestic company, as a global companies only at different countries. It will born at different countries. Technology intensive firms. Now, here what happen? All those will comes under born intensive. Now, how we will do that one? How do we take the decision? The company also need to decide the country to enter. We said 3 to 4 countries. I have taken waterfall approach, one after the other, that I will enter. For example, I want to enter into Africa, I want to enter into Sri Lanka, I want to enter into like America, I want to enter into some other country like Pakistan, Afghanistan, something. Now, which among these 4, which one needed to be entered first? Their attractiveness is influenced by the product and at the same time the other aspects like geographical area, income, population, political climate, etc. Now, why all these things are matter? Because whenever we are going to enter into a market, we need to analyze, does the product is needed there or not? That is the first aspect. Geography. Now, what is the size of that one? For example, country like Sri Lanka. What will happen? Yes, whenever the geographical areas are small, the possibility of success might also be decreased. So, how you want to select? Income levels like Afghanistan, that we have highest inflation that we have. Now, when we are going to enter into underdeveloped countries or developing countries, their income levels of the people might be less. How we will take such decisions? And at the same time, population, political climate. What is the political influences and how the existing political leaders are supportive to us. So, depending upon this political relations depends upon country to country. So, we need to analyze all these things before entering into a foreign country. These are the 3 basic approaches how we will select that approach. Now, the another decision, as I said just now, that is either we will enter into a developing country or else we will enter into a developed country. Both will have its advantages and disadvantages. Basically, whenever we are going to enter into a developing country, in the developing country, what is the best opportunity that we have? Probability that the population might be high, but the income levels of the people might be low. But whereas when we are going to enter into a developed country, in that case, the population of the people might not be up to the mark, but the income levels of the people will be very high. Now, how do we select the decision? It depends upon the type of product. For example, my product is some kind of a consumer good, end user product. In that case, I will enter into a developing country. Why? As the population is high, my product is not very highly expensive, so it can be easily accepted by the people in a developed country. But whereas let us assume that my product is an expensive car, luxury car in crores, 10 crores, 5 crore car that I want to launch. In that case, shall I select this developing country? Means this will become a foolish decision. Why? In the developing country, there might be certain people, but the sample size will be very less. Success rate might be decreases. But whereas in a developed country, the chances of success might be high. Like that, as we will take this decision. The entire content is related to the same. Like let us have a look on this one. Firms need to decide to enter either into a developed country or developing country like Brazil, India, etc. The unmet needs of the emerging and developing world represents huge potential market for food, shelter, cloth, all these things. Where will happen means in a developing country. So, unmet needs will be present, because of that the possibility of success will increases. Developed countries represent only 20% of world population. As we said just now, the population is less and the income levels is high with a very big purchasing power. Whereas in the developing market, huge potential might be present but small purchasing potential. Population will be high but the scope for their purchases will be very less. So, depending upon the product that we will select. Evaluating the potential market. Now, whichever that we have selected, have we selected the right market or not? How we will take the decision? Readiness for the different types of products and services and its attractiveness as a market depends on its geography, economical, socio-cultural. For example, whenever we are going to enter into any foreign country, how do we find out have we taken the right decision or not? Find out what kind of products that they are using, what is the economical situations of the people, what are the socio-cultural things that they are following, what is the weather changes, technological advancements there. Depending upon all these factors, we will find out either we have selected the right market to enter or we needed to change our decision. This is the second aspect that we have, that is deciding market to enter. Next, after that, the third decision that we have, it is deciding the way to enter into a foreign market. How to enter? First decision we said whether to enter or not, that we need to decide. Second aspect, how to, what is the approach that we can use, which country that we can select. Now, we have selected even a country, like I want to enter into Africa, I want to enter into Australia, I want to do the business operations side. Now, how you want to enter there? Do you want to go bond, or else you want to go with licensing, exporting, joint ventures? There are different types that we have. That decisions will be taken in this step. Once the firms decide the target a particular country, it might determine the best mode of entry. What is the way to enter into that market? Its broad choices include indirect exports or direct export. What is the difference between indirect and direct exporting? Indirect exporting says that without our identity, we will export to a other foreigner which is already existing to a retailing company. Those people will sell our product. But whereas direct exporting, our company employees only, that means we will have our sales subsidiary units in the other foreign countries. Through that, as we will distribute the product to the other country people. Or else we can go with licensing, joint ventures, direct investment, etc. Now let us have a look on this one. Like licensing that we have. Now, what is the concept of licensing? Licensing represents that, as the name itself is saying, that permission. So, we are giving a permission, we are allowing somebody to use our brand name, our identity to sell a product. That's such a concept, as we'll call it as licensing. Licensing is a simple way to become involved in a international market. So, we are just sharing our identities and all, so that the other people can use that in order to sell their products into other foreign country. What is the advantage of that one? Our brand will be popularized into that one. And how it depends upon how we have selected that franchisor. The licensor issues a license to the foreign company to use manufacturing process, patent, trademarks or other items, whatever that are valuable to them, and for that as they will pay certain loyalty. Okay, this is licensing. Otherwise, as we will go for joint ventures. Now, joint ventures, the name itself is saying that two different companies are combining together to perform the operations. Foreign investors may join with a local investors. So, foreigners will enter into a local market to create a joint venture company in which they will share the ownership as well as control. Now, in the licensing, the ownership will be with the branding, ownership will be with the licensor, and licensee that we have, they can just simply use that one. But in a joint venture, what happens? Shared ownership will be present. That means both the companies A and B will become the owners of that company. Some of the instant examples that we have, it is Tata AIG. Now, AIG is an insurance, but whereas Tata is not at all in the insurance agencies, banking that we have. Now, Tata AIG, what happened is through the Tata as AIG has entered into this one. Birla Sun Life Insurance, ICICI Prudential, etc. etc. Now, this is joint ventures and licensing. Now, come to the next aspect, that is direct investment. Now, foreign through FDI, that is foreign direct investments also, as we can enter into a global market. The ultimate form of a foreign involvement is direct ownership. That means we are going to establish our business organizations in a foreign country or foreign based assembly or manufacturing facilities. The foreign company can buy part or full integrated local company and build its own facilities. So, in the foreign country, what happened? We will develop our own organizations. This is how we needed to enter into that one. The next decision that we have, okay, we also decided that how we needed to enter, either licensing, franchising or else joint venture something. Now, the fourth element, that the next step that we have, we needed to have 4 P's needed to be defined. What are those P's? 4 P's. For example, product, price, place, promotion. These we will call them as marketing programs or marketing mix. This needed to be decided before starting our business operations. Decide on the marketing programs. International companies must decide how much to adapt their marketing strategies to the local conditions. Now, basically here what happened, how we will select our product. Whatever the product that I am selling in India, do I sell the same product in Australia, Africa, wherever it is, or else any changes required? What kind of changes that need to be done? Price of the product. Do I sell the product which I am selling in a domestic country, or else I need to increase or decrease according to the foreign requirements? Place, how to distribute that product. Promotions, how to communicate about the product. So, we need to define, we need to take a decision either to change complete marketing strategies, or else we will use certain changes only in the local, depending upon the local conditions. At one extreme, companies that use globally standardized marketing mix worldwide. Certain companies, what they are doing, they are using a single price throughout the different types of countries. A single product throughout the different types of countries that they are selling. This is one of the elements that we have. Otherwise, standardization of the product, communication and distribution channel promises low cost. Now, when we are doing that, ultimately what is the possibility advantage of this one? The cost of production, cost of a product might be decreased. On the other hand, adapting the marketing mix where the producer adjusts these things depending upon the target market. So, depend. For example, if I am selling my product in Brazil, if I am selling my product in America, both are two different countries. One is a developed country, the other one is developing country. In that cases, how do I take the decision? Can I sell both at the same price? The first strategy. No, because Brazil, the purchasing power might be different. America, that might be different. The cultural people, even the product, we needed to make certain changes. So, in the second aspect, what happened? We needed to make certain changes in this one. But the ultimate thing is that here the cost might be increases. That is the second aspect that we have. Now, let us have a look on all the 4 P's, how we will take the decision. Product. Some type of products travel better across the borders than the other. There are certain type of products that we have. Now, here what will happen? That might be suitable for different types of places. But whereas certain type of products, we need customization. For example, take a simple example of Coca-Cola. Whatever the Coca-Cola that we are using here in India, same company, same brand, but does it taste the same in the other foreign countries? Might not be. Why there is a variation? Because depending upon the climatical changes, the tendency of a customer will changes. So, I mean, in the foreign countries, whatever the climatical changes that they have, what the Coke is available here in India, it will become very minute. Because of that, it might not be accepted. It should be very strong in the other foreign countries. It depends. So, whatever the requirements of the people in that respective locality, we will change. Customization can be done. How we want to do that one? Either single product all, or else we want to make certain changes in this one. Food, beverages and all that. For another example that we can talk about McDonald's, burger. Yes, when the burger is non-veg it is and the basic ingredient is beef, but when the same company entered into the market like India, does they have considered the same as a basic ingredient? Means no, they have started with chicken. Why? Because I mean, consuming beef in India will be against to many cultural religious aspects that we have. So we should analyze what kind of changes that we need to make in our product. Like stride extension, there are different types of strategies that we have to enter into a foreign market. Like the first one that we cannot talk about, stride extension. Now, what is the meaning of that one? It means introducing the product in a foreign country without making any changes. Whatever the product here in India, it is available with the same consistency, with the same qualities, features that we are going to release that product in a foreign market. Now, the second one. Product adaptation, that is altering of the product, making certain type of changes according to the people. Like as I said, the Coca-Cola. Whenever Coca-Cola is available in the foreign country, the climatical changes, it is very cold countries that we have. Because of that, it should be very strong. Then only the people will get that refreshment which is promised by Coca-Cola. So, making certain changes in that one. The next third aspect that we have, it is product invention. We are going to create a new product for the new market, for a global market. That is consist of creating something new. It can be in two different ways that we can do. One that we have, it is backward invention and forward invention. Now what is a backward invention means? What we have introduced earlier, now we are going to reintroduce the same product in the other foreign country. Now in our domestic country, the demand for that product might have been reduced, but in the foreign country the demand is very high, so we will go with that one. Or else forward invention, that we have introducing, creating certain new additional features into that one, so that we can able to meet the changing requirements of the other people. So these are the various decisions that we will take with respect to product. The next one that we have, it is price. How much to charge? Because whatever that we are spending in a domestic country, do we will charge the same along with the export tariffs that we have? Means it depends, depending upon the what type of country that we are going to enter, as it will changes. Multinational faces several problems, issues with pricing of a product when selling in abroad. They must deal with price escalation. Whatever the price problems arises with respect to the price, they need to escalate all that. They need to transfer the prices. That means whatever the product price in one country can be transferred in the other country. Dumping charges, dumping pricing strategy that we have, where in the initial foreign country the prices will be low when compared with their domestic country. And grey markets. So these are the various different types of elements that we will use with respect to pricing. When companies sell their goods in abroad, they find problems with the price escalations because the cost of escalation varies from country to country. So how to address the price? It will differ from one country to another country. The question is how to set the price in different countries. For that, as we will use the three different types of alternatives. The first one is uniform price everywhere, irrespective of the purchasing power of the people and all, as we will use the same price in all the different countries that we are operating with. Set market based pricing in each country. So what is the market value of that? Who are the competitors? What are their prices? According to that we can do. The third aspect that we have, it is cost based pricing. So in order to do a business in one specific country, what is the investment contribution that we have made? Based upon that also, as we can. So this is all about the pricing strategy. The first one is product, the second one is price, the third aspect that we have, it is distribution channel. How to distribute, make our product to be available to the customers. Companies should pay attention to how the product is distributed within the foreign country. Now how we want to distribute our product. They should take a whole channel view of the problem of distributing the final to the product to the final users. The first one that we have, it is sellers headquarters. Now sellers will belongs to the headquarters, from that as they will sell their product, or else channels between the nations, as various channels that we can operate that will take care about the distribution of that product among the different types of nations that we are covering. Channels within a foreign nation. So the local channels that we will use in order to distribute our product. Or the last one that we have, it is final buyers. Yes, we can make our product to be available to the final buyer. So these are the various decisions we will take with respect to distribution. The last one that we have, it is communication. It is very important that we need to inform to the customers where the proper product is available. Companies can run the same marketing communication program as used at home country, or they can even make change depending upon the different characters. For example, Sachin Tendulkar is an ambassador here in India. He is one of the famous international personality. We can use the same even in a foreign country. Otherwise, we are using an advertisement here in India, we will change because that might not be suitable to the other foreign countries. According to that possibility, as we will take that decision. A process called communication adaptation. It is if it's adaptation, both product as well as the communication, the company engage in dual adaptation. So if it is adapts both product adaptation as well as the communication, then the dual adaptation that we have. This is the fourth P of marketing programs that we have. Now, once we will define even the marketing programs also, the third step that we have here, that is deciding the marketing programs, product, price, place, promotions has been decided. Then we will move to the last one, that is deciding on marketing organization. How do you want to design your organization structure? That needed to be decided. Companies manage their international business activities in three different ways. One is export department, separate only the department like a sales department, advertising department that we have, that they can do, or else they can start their own separate wing for international divisions or a global business organization. That means they'll operate from different countries. The first one that we have, it is export department. A firm normally goes into an international market by simply shipping out its goods to the other foreign countries. We are not going to take care about the sale. The foreigners, we have a retailers there, we have made an agreement, only those people will sell that product. If its international sales expand, the company may think about having a separate export department for this one, consisting of sales manager and few assistants. Come to the next one, that is international divisions. Many companies become involved in several international markets and ventures. Sooner or later, they are creating their international divisions. That means once they succeeded into an international exports, then they are creating separate wing for international divisions to handle all the international activities. The international divisions are headed by the division president, and at the same time the budgets goals will be set by the division president only. The third way that we have, it is global organization. Several firms have become truly global organizations. That means a separate business organizations can be established in a foreign country. The global operating unit reports directly to the CEO of that company, not to the international divisions. So like this, as we can take the decisions which organization structure that we want to use. This is the last decision under entering into a global market. So first we need to decide whether to go or not to go. Once we have decided I want to go, then how? What is the approach that we want to make? Now once we are clear even with the approaches, now how you want to enter into that one, like licensing, joint ventures, in what way? Once even with the clear with what we want to make, we should define our marketing program. Once we're clear with the marketing program, then we will come to the last stage, that is we have to decide the marketing organization. This is all about the global market and what are the decisions that involves in a global market. That's it for today. Thank you.